Today on the show, Radical Ones, we are doing 1969's Frosty the Snowman, a TV special and a classic till today.
Happy birthday!
It's time to get radical.
Hello there.
It's showtime.
What is this, trick-or-treat?
Did I do that?
Good morning, Charlie.
Sailor Moon, the champion of justice.
Daddy would have gotten us Uzis.
The power is yours.
Get down, honey, get down!
And look, I won't go far, okay? If the apocalypse comes, beat me.
My name is Grace Jones.
Thunder, 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 thundercats.
Power of 3 will set us free. Power of 3 will set us free. Power of 3 will set us free.
But I ain't one to gossip, so if anyone asks you, you ain't heard it from me. No, you have.
No more room in hell. The dead walk here.
Welcome back, Radical Ones, to another episode of the Radical Retro Rewind Podcast. As always, I am your host, Radical Ryan Hunter, and I'm here with everyone's favorite brother and mine, David, and we're talking Frosty the Snowman, the special from 1969.
There must have been some magic in that old silk hat they found, 'cause when they placed it on his head, he began to dance around. So that's it.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
David is singing the popular Christmas song, which was written by Walter Jack Rollins and Steve Nelson, and first recorded by Gene Autry and the Cass County Boys in 1950, and then later recorded by Jimmy Durante, which is seen in this version that we're doing today. So Frosty the Snowman, David, doesn't get much more Christmas-like than this movie, does it?
Yeah, so last year we did Rudolph, and we had kind of talked about doing like classic stuff. We looked at the Peanuts gang, we looked at different things, and I used to really have fond memories of claymation, so I just figured we talked about it, so I said let's do Frosty.
This is Rankin Bass Productions again. Rankin
Yes, I have notes on this. It's actually quite short, so even if you are a little bit older, or maybe you have grandkids, or you're in the same age range as Ryan and I, well, actually Ryan's younger than me. But anyway, if you want to share it with them and you know that they don't have a great attention span, I think they'll still be able to watch this because it's short. It's like 20 something minutes. You know what I mean? It's like a Netflix episode.
I did not realize the same thing, David. Do you think that's because it's usually with commercials on TV and it extends it probably past an hour, I'm assuming?
I just think when we were kids, it just seemed so much more epic because of the fact of, like, we'll get into the story, but, like, certain parts of it were very, like, kind of a little bit sad, and
it did seem like more of an adventure, almost. It was on par, I thought, with a Rudolph adventure, but going by this rewatch, Rudolph definitely takes the cake with the abominable and everything that he was dealing with. This one, you just get a salty magician the whole time.
You get a weird stalker.
So I looked up a few trivia things, David, before we get into the actual movie. So TV Guide, which I'm assuming still exists on cyberspace, because I know they don't make the paper TV guides anymore, do they? I know they got bigger, but I haven't seen a big TV guide.
I don't know. Maybe.
Do you exist, TV Guide? TV Guide ranked the special number 9 in its 10 best family holiday special list.
I would agree with that because it is wholesome, and it's a part of history. You have even down. We talked about this, even with the Wizard of Oz, where they used like a plastic bag to make it look like a tornado, and I thought it was pretty cool at the time when I saw it.
That shocks me when you told me that was a plastic, like a garbage bag on a stick or something spinning around.
Do you ever feel like a plastic bag?
I mean, it's true. There's a charm to this. So, Frosty's hometown is in Armonk, New York. The lyrist Steve Nielsen lived in the nearby White Plains of New York, and he used to visit this historic hamlet as a young man. And then the village square mentioned in the lyrics of the song is now the historic district in the town of North Castle. So this is in New York. Local historians also claim that the traffic cops who hollered "Stop stop is based on the former chief of police, John Herringham.
All right. Didn't you see that traffic light?
What's a traffic light?
Up there on the lamppost.
What's a lamppost?
Oh, you want a ticket, wise guy?
I'd love one. To the North Pole, please.
Huh?
You've got to excuse him, sir. You see, he just came to life, and he doesn't know much about such things.
Oh, well, okay, if he just came to life. Move along! That silly snowman. Once they come to life, they don't know nothing. Come to life?
And then this place in New York hosts the annual Frosty Day Parade and celebration that is officially listed as one of the 10 best things to do in Westchester County.
Oh, that's cool. That's cute. Listen, it's so close to Christmas. Anything that you can do to rekindle any kind of magic in your life. You know, we had Patricia Tolman on, and she was talking about, for those who listen to the podcast, about like finding magic again. And I feel like anything that will bring that back is amazing. This year, I have to say, this is the first time in a very long time that I've had a really good experience with the holidays. I felt good about it. I didn't care that it was rushed because I wanted it to be rushed, if that makes sense. Like all the holiday stuff. Although it's a pain in the butt to try to like...
You started putting the stuff out before Thanksgiving, right? Because you have so many trees.
Yeah. And so it was important for me to just really embrace it. And so anytime you can do anything fun like this is from my childhood. So actually it's from my childhood, but it's from generational before me. But this is also part of my childhood, obviously. This was put out, you said 60 what?
69.
9, so a little before my time.
But that's the beautiful part, David. Like you said, this is generational. And I mean, I want to say as of last year, I know that they had Frosty still on TV. It's not like Peanuts that's only on Apple now, but...
Oh, don't even get me started. All these conglomerates are buying up all the rights to these classics that have been on TV. I bought Frosty. I bought him in HD. I should have probably looked on YouTube, but listen, it is what it is. It was cleaned up. It looked good, so I'm not complaining. But yeah, that's also part of like the sign of the times where they're buying up all these things that were basically a given during the holidays. So anyway, let's not put a negative tone on it. But yeah, HD was good. It was also honestly good for the kids, Ryan, because low quality stuff doesn't register with them because they're so used to seeing such high quality pictures and things like that. So having something that's been cleaned up and is digitally enhanced or whatever they do is actually probably best, again, for keep interest.
I never thought of that because now that we're old, is it the same thing that you're going through with your kids, that you know how when we were younger we could tell like a cartoon was older, like let's say like Hanna-Barbera, Scooby-Doo, kind of old looking feel to it? Can they look at stuff and go like, yes, oh my god, this is old?
The difference is that they won't watch it. We would. So there's the difference.
They're like, no, this is too old. Goodbye.
Like, this is old. I'm not watching this.
But you know what? That's probably every generation now. Probably. I doubt anyone is watching half of these specials.
Frosty the Snowman. It's a holiday classic for the whole family. The durable dude made of snow.
Frosty the Snowman.
And he's way cool. Wednesday.
So this actually aired December 7th, 1969 on CBS TV network. And then immediately after, the fourth showing of A Charlie Brown Christmas was shown. Both scored high ratings, and the special has continued annually for the network's Christmas and holiday seasons every year since. So I'm glad that's still on TV. Are the kids watching? We don't know. You tell us out there, radical ones. If you have children, are they still watching Frosty the Snowman in 2022?
They better.
Why don't we get into the movie, David?
Go for it.
In a schoolhouse on Christmas Eve, an inept magician, Professor Hinkle, unsuccessfully performs his tricks during a Christmas party. Upon being dismissed, the children go outside to play in the snow, where they build a snowman and name him Frosty. And then Professor Hinkle chases his hat over his rabbit, Hocus Pocus, which blows off by the wind and is caught by Karen, who puts it on Frosty's head and brings him to life. First off, off. The magician was really a professor?
That's his stage name, Ryan. We all have stage names. Like, do you think that I tell everybody my real name? My name is not David. Oh my God. You're such an amateur.
It's Professor David.
That's Professor David. So you start up with the monologue and the song by Jimmy Durante, the Frosty the Snowman song. It's the day before Christmas, so kids are going to school until they're on Christmas Eve. They're in school, which I found kind of interesting. The teacher hired a magician as a treat for the kids.
I thought they would love that, actually. Wouldn't you? Especially on Christmas Eve.
He's horrible. He's horrible.
Children, back to your seats. The snow can wait. Now. I've hired Professor Hinkle, the magician, to entertain at today's class Christmas party. So pay attention.
Now, Professor Hinkle was just about the worst magician in the world.
And so, I put the magic eggs into my hat. Abracadabra, to coin the phrase. And voila, the eggs have turned into... messy.
And he has this super smart rabbit called Hocus Pocus, which within itself is a great thing because it's a smart rabbit, like super smart, like communicative smart, which is so funny. He's a hack of a magician, and he kind of like throws the hat in, so to speak, and he's like, I'm done with this. This hat doesn't work. It's supposed to be magic. He throws it.
Where is that rabbit? Hocus Pocus, where are you? Bah! The only thing this hat's good for is the trash can.
Basically relinquishes ownership of the hat, and then it does blow away, and the kids are making a snowman. And first of all, he's pissed off to begin with because the kids are like not laughing because he's horrible. And then secondly, he's mad because as soon as the bell rings, they run outside to make a snowman because they're not interested. He's like, how dare you not? You're going to choose to play in snow as opposed to watching me?
Professor Hinkle, to be exact.
You know, and they do the whole thing. They make Frosty, which they do a beautiful job of sculpting this snowman. It's Michelangelo quality. Really?
I mean, the man doesn't even have a separation at one point of where the balls...
What?
Where the snowballs, where the snowballs were. It was massive balls of snow, and then all of a sudden he became one figure with legs. I guess that's the magic of the hat. It gave him a torso made of snow.
Hey, Snow! We're building a snowman, Karen. You make the head. The head is the most difficult part. Ask anyone. What'll we call him? Yeah, shall we call him Harold?
Bruce?
Nah. Christopher Columbus? Oh, no. Oatmeal? How about Frosty?
Frosty? Yeah, Frosty it is. Frosty the Snowman.
Yay!
Frosty the Snowman, what a happy, jolly soul, with a corncob pipe and a button nose and 2 eyes made out of coal. Frosty the Snowman.
Come back here, you.
Then the hat brings Frosty to life. Professor Xavier.
You were calling him, what were you calling him? Professor Teeth, right?
Professor Teeth. I don't know. Dr. Teeth or whatever. Professor Xavier, whatever his name is. What's his name?
Professor Hinkle.
Hinkle's knives. I like them. They have a good quality. German forged knives. German high quality steel. Anyway, Hinkle's knives. Get them at Bed Bath & Beyond. Basically rips the hat back from these crying children. He's like, you stupid kids. Now that I know this hat is magic, I'm taking it back. And he takes it. He's like, you don't know what you're talking about. Are you going to believe your own eyes or what I tell you to believe? You didn't see that snowman come to life. That's basically what he tells him in a nutshell. And you're young and you have no idea. You have no idea what life is like, basically. He's very upset.
Where did the teacher find him, you think?
On Craigslist?
She was really excited, too. She's like...
Did she get in a group on? It was that low quality.
She's like, they ain't paying me much, children. This is what I found.
Well, God bless her. She paid to have a magician come. Maybe that's what she could afford.
Matter of fact, she found him at the local bar that she visits by herself every night when she's drinking. That was her drinking mate that night.
Singing her sorrows away about how these damn children don't listen to a thing she says in class. You know, like they have the drunk Santa Claus that's inebriated, that's sitting on, taking pictures with your kids. Meanwhile, they're bad Santas. Yeah.
That's what she came up with.
So then he takes off with this hat, and Hocus Pocus, the rabbit, who is very intelligent, knows that it's not fair that he basically took the life from Frosty, and that he knows in his heart that the hat belongs to Frosty. It found him. He relinquished ownership when he threw it away and said, I don't want it anymore. So the rabbit brings the hat back to Frosty. Frosty comes to life, and the kids have an amazing time and start playing with him.
And live the song out, right?
Until they realize that the temperature is starting to warm up, and Frosty, I wish that would work for me, because I could lose a couple of pounds just by sweating it off.
He melts a little, yeah.
Little.
What's the matter, Frosty?
Whew. Is there a thermometer around here?
Over there in the wall. Why?
Oh, I was afraid of that. The thermometer's getting red. I hate red thermometers.
Why, Frosty?
Because when the thermometer gets all reddish, the temperature goes up. And when the temperature goes up, I start to melt. And when I start to melt, I get all wishy-washy.
Then you've got to go someplace where you'll never melt.
The only place I'd never melt is the North Pole.
Then we've got to get you there.
Yeah, we'll take you downtown to the railroad station and put you on a train.
Great! I always wanted to see the town. Let's make a party out of it. Let's have a parade.
So this is where they decide to take him to the North Pole. I have to say, I miss being young and having Christmas specials and this magical Christmas feeling. I mean, like you're saying, the kids are at school. It's that feeling of you're at school. You're going to have these days off coming up. It's going to be this magical time. There's possibly snow if there's snow in your area.
You're dressed in schoolgirl outfit, tapping your pencil until, oh, baby, baby, how was I supposed to know? You see little Karen doing that? Which brings me up to the fact that all the girls in the special have no pants.
Karen, our original Karen.
They don't have pants. Now, I understand that at that time, girls probably 99.99999% of the time only wore dresses. However, if you look closer, you don't see anything.
And matter of fact, David, we just saw a picture where there is a still that the animators left Karen's dress going up when she's being attacked by Hinkle, and she has no pants on at all. She has a crotch line, a matter of fact, so she is naked.
You know what? Sometimes you do have to air yourself out.
Oh my God. Well, they did that, David, on purpose. I would say it was an animation mistake, almost like we were talking off camera, and David was saying, she does wear this like petticoat that kind of, you could possibly say it covers everything. But then when you go up, the skirt flies up later and you see nothing, not even a bloomers, as they would say back in the day. You know that they're trying to do something. A matter of fact, David, I just saw last night a black and white clip of Mickey Mouse making Swiss cheese. And guess what he was putting the holes in with? His bulging penis in a black and white cartoon.
What?
Poking holes in Swiss cheese with his penis.
Are you sure that's not just something that somebody made up as a...
Pause, radical ones. I'm going to show this to David, and we were going to get his reaction right now.
That was awesome! Wait till Buzz Lightyear sees that blaster. He's gonna love it. It's magic!
I have just shown David the footage. It's Mickey in a factory. He's making Swiss cheese. What do you think, David?
And that's really real?
Yeah, it's like they have a whole thing of Disney putting nude pictures in there, even in the Great Mouse Detectives.
The thing is that, I don't know. I mean, we're not going to go down the rabbit hole, but I will say that there's a lot of bad things out there. And there's, anytime you have adults in general doing stuff, it doesn't matter. There's always the potential and corporate greed and corruption. I mean, but we're not going to, this is not the episode to be talking about this, but that. But and maybe someone made that as a joke. I mean, listen, I definitely believe, we're not going to go down the rabbit hole again, but conspiracy theory wise and stuff like that, yeah, I do believe there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of, unfortunately, pedophilia and drugs and a lot of other stuff in Hollywood and all these different
subliminal
things. It's not, we're not stupid to that, but that's why, as a parent, I try to steer my children away from quite a lot of things. But yeah, it's definitely vulgar.
That's why you have your radical retro brothers pre-watch your entertainment for you.
Well, we tell you that Karen has no pants on, plus the other girl.
The other girl, though, I wrote that she mumbled at the start in baby talk, and I couldn't understand a word she said, by the way. They had that one girl, she was just like,
Smell!
I think that's her you're talking about. That was the only other girl. This is my favorite. They find out that a ticket to the North Pole is $3,000, which I think that makes sense. Sounds about right, doesn't it?
Maybe by today's standards.
Yeah, I know. I was like, 1969, $3,000. Where are they getting this money?
Well, here's the funny part. So a child, a very small child, and a living snowman comes up to a ticket counter, and the man doesn't even question the fact that there's a snowman and there's a small girl and they're asking for tickets to go to the North Pole. He's more concerned about transferring and this and that, and then he gets pissed off and they're like, we have no money, and slams down the little gate for the ticket window.
We'd like a ticket to the North Pole, please.
Well, North Pole? Oh, yes, ma'am. Route you by the way of Saskatchewan, Hudson Bay, Nome, Alaska, the Klondike and Aurora Borealis. Gotta make a change at Nanook of the North, though. That'll be $3,000.04, including tax.
Oh, but we don't have any money.
No money! No money, no ticket.
Now I'll never get to the North Pole.
Oh, Frosty.
I found that very amusing. I put down, why didn't the professor keep Frosty as part of his act or performance instead of just that, because that's true magic. Do you think that the snowman from Frozen, was it Olaf, right? Olaf.
Olaf, yeah.
Is based off of Frosty? Because some of the stuff he says are even very Frosty-esque.
Oh, like the innocence of just being born kind of thing.
Happy birthday!
Yep, I could see that.
We're us, we're always jumping around. So basically, the bottom line with everything is that they can't afford the ticket, so they decide to go do an old-fashioned jumping train cars. They're going to be hobos, and they're going to go into a train car. Got an unaccompanied child with a snowman jumping in a train car. A refrigerated boxcar, by the way, so that they're like, oh, we're going to go in style.
Karen says, by the way, her mother won't mind unless she's not home for supper. But Karen, I think your mother would mind, honestly. You're, like David said, you're with a snowman, a living snowman, and you're going to the North Pole and possibly jumping on trains, like you said, with like hobos with sticks, the bag with the handkerchief because they ran away. Was this so common to do back in the day, David? Because every movie, every TV show,
I'm going to tell you why, because I don't know if it was just romanticized, because even my oldest son is like, wouldn't it be cool to just jump on a train and go someplace on it?
Really? I would love that.
I'm like, then I'd have to come pick you up wherever you are, and that could be a long way.
So, I mean, did people do this all the time back in the day? Was this a way of avoiding a ticket price? Like, if you were fast enough, you could just jump on the side of a boxcar? Like the boxcar children?
People have done that. I was told many, many years ago that people did that but then they would, the train people would find them and beat them up, and they'd be in big trouble for jumping on a train. I don't know.
I thought you were going to say push them off. They were going to beat them off the doors before they get in. How does Mr. Hinkle...
Professor Hinkley? So this is what I did. I wrote this down. I said, Psycho hides under the train like a horror movie.
He's holding on to bars under the train.
That's commitment. He's crazy.
So when the little freight train stopped to let an express full of happy Christmas travelers pass, Frosty took advantage of the opportunity and quickly got them all out.
Oh, you tricked me! No fair!
The only thing Professor Hinkle could do was make a jump for us.
He's crazy. He's like, you're not getting away. He talks to himself the whole time, and he jumps and he hides. That's, to me, is like a horror movie. Like, that is a horror movie. This psycho is following you, and he jumps on the bottom of the train. You think you've escaped. That they were oblivious to him. They like knew he was there, but they're like, eh.
I think because they can't believe that this man would take the time to follow them. But at the same time, I'm thinking, I mean, his rabbit, I guess, did abandon him too. So let's just say that he's going after the rabbit, but I doubt that. No, we know he's going after
No, he's not. He's going after the hat, Frosty. So they get in the refrigerated car, and you realize that the rabbit has fur, which Ryan, being a rabbit dad, could tell you right now, you would not probably want to put them in a refrigerated car.
No.
They would not do well. If they made it look like it was like, oh, he's so warm and cuddly because he's a rabbit, he'll be fine. No, I don't think so.
Matter of fact, do you know how many rabbits, I hate to tell you this, freeze to death when people leave them outside in hutches? They come to a certain point and they can't take it. Matter of fact, the same thing as when I worked with dogs back in the day. They say, if you go to your door and you can't stand there without a coat on, your dogs and cats will be frozen as well. So just a little thought to keep in mind. They do get cold. That fur ain't doing much, especially when you're in a boxcar to the North Pole. I asked David off camera, I'm like, this guy, the Professor Hinkle, he reminds me of a real life actor, a character actor at the time. And the only thing I came up with is, and you've heard me mention this person before on the show, is Uncle Arthur from Bewitched.
Gotcha now, Uncle Arthur.
Forgive me for not rising, but I'm up to my neck in work.
Darren, say hello to Uncle Arthur.
Are you trying to say that every single bad character, especially in Disney movies, always the bad guys are gay?
Well, Samantha, if the gloves fit, because he's always wearing gloves. I looked it up. The actor is Billy DeWolf. I don't know what he was in. Evidently, he's not who I'm thinking of from.
Ryan, you should have done more research. This is
Samantha
podcasting. You don't even know who he is. What if he was in Casablanca or something?
Well, here we go. Wikipedia. Did I smell it from far away? Did I smell a Hinkle? DeWolf never married, and personal aspects of his life were rarely mentioned publicly. He was a closeted homosexual. However, it was mentioned or alluded to in various publications.
Well, isn't it funny? He's a closeted homosexual, and I'm a homosexual in a closet doing podcasting.
It's come full circle.
I mean, don't go. It's a nice closet. It's a nice big walk-in closet. That's where I put. But I set up my office in here.
But today we're cleaning out a closet, like Eminem.
Yeah,
I knew it. It wasn't Uncle Arthur, but it was another Uncle Arthur. Wah, wah.
So, getting back to the actual movie, okay? They get out of the train car because Frosty realizes Karen is getting cold and sick.
He realizes that Karen is dead
because she has no clothes on underneath that coat. And they end up going into the snow, and it's horrible, and it's snowing, and it's cold, and they come across woodland creatures decorating trees for Christmas.
Warmed my heart. This is actually my favorite part of the special, David. The forest animals getting ready for Christmas.
And then
beautiful.
Frosty asks Hocus Pocus to talk to them in his native tongue, rabbit, because they're one animal to another, and says that they need to make a fire for Karen. So the woodland animals know exactly how to make a fire. They're more than happy to do so because poor Karen is going to die.
They were delighted, David.
For it was Christmas Eve, and the woodland animals were all decorating for that big celebration. They knew Santa was to come that night, and they wanted everything to be just right.
Hocus, speak to the animals. See if they won't all pitch in and build a fire for Karen.
The animals were delighted to help. So they found a spot away from the glen where the fire wouldn't catch on to the tree. Soon there was a spark, and in almost no time, a splendid fire was crackling away.
Did Smokey the Bear approve these animals building a fire in the forest? Is this what happens with forest fires?
Are you blaming me? You're blaming the animals now, Ryan, making forest fires. How dare you? How dare you, sir? So they build a fire. Frosty makes sure that he stays far away from it.
Yeah.
Only to find out that I skipped one crucial part. They jump off the train when it stops to make a stop someplace, and Psychopath is yelling, "You tricked me! You tricked me!" And then he ends up jumping off the train and rolling into the snow to go after them.
He did roll. He did.
And at some point, Karen's by the fire. Psychopath blows out her campfire, is like, "Oh, guess you're gonna freeze now."
And so Frosty kept a silent vigil, waiting patiently all through the night until Santa would arrive. But suddenly...
Oh, a campfire. Well, isn't that all snug and comfy?
No, don't!
Now, give me that hat or else.
Or else what?
Well, don't bother me with details. Give me that hat.
Get on my shoulders, Karen.
Terrible, this man. He's terrible.
And so they end up, she jumps on Frosty, and Frosty she uses Frosty like a sled to get away from.
What is that, belly whopping? Is that what they call it?
So they end up coming to a random greenhouse with poinsettias, which is really cute, but out of nowhere.
Is that Santa's poinsettia factory?
No, it's not. It's just a random greenhouse they found. So Frosty says, go inside, Karen, because obviously to keep these tropical, which I like the fact that they actually told you that poinsettias are not for cold. They're actually tropical.
Yes. Smart.
You know, to bring that up, to warm up, he said he's told Karen he'd go inside with her for a few minutes. He needs to lose a few pounds. I know, Karen. Believe me, Frosty, I feel you. So then, basically, Psychopath comes and locks them in, and he's like, basically, I'll get that hat back one way or another.
Right at the bottom of the hill was a tiny greenhouse used to grow precious tropical poinsettias for Christmas.
It's got to be all warm and snug inside for those Christmas flowers to grow so beautiful. Let's go in.
Oh, but you will melt.
Just a little. I'll only stay inside for a minute. Besides, I've been meaning to take off a little weight anyway.
I blame Karen's teacher for this whole thing, hiring a psychopath.
She's like, I didn't know I was supposed to check his background.
I hate children. I just wanted to get rid of my students.
He was involved in a massacre, and he just got out of jail. Basically, Santa is told by the woodland creatures and Hocus Pocus that they need to go get Frosty and Karen. What's going on? He basically talking about his story and what's the word? His plight?
Plight.
So basically, he talks about Frosty's plight. By the time he gets there, they realize that he sees Karen crying over a puddle of water and Frosty's hat.
And he assumes that she's crying because someone got her order wrong, because her name is Karen.
Oh my God, yeah.
Our Santa isn't mean, by the way. This is a nice Santa.
This is not
not Rudolph.
Santa. This is not the Rudolph Santa, judgmental. Well, I'll take you now that you got a light I can use. So basically, Santa explains that Frosty was made of what he calls Christmas snow, the first snow of the season, and that's magical. And I actually do like this. To me, this was the most touching part of the thing. First of all, I felt bad for Karen.
Yeah.
Because even though it's a cartoon, obviously beyond reality, she lost her friend, and she was going to do anything to get him to safety, which is a beautiful thing. So that made me really sad. She was crying. I don't want to see kids crying, even if it's a cartoon kid. I felt bad about that. And then Santa came up with this beautiful analogy and talking about how he basically was talking about the cycle of life, the cycle of water, how, snow turns into water in the springtime, and then it rains, and then once basically the cold or what, I don't know, he said it very eloquently, touches the water, it turns into Christmas snow again. So he opened the greenhouse
and he'll return every year, right? That was the other thing. And the same water will return every year.
Yeah, it was like a cycle of life thing. It was actually really beautifully said.
Oh, don't cry, Karen. Frosty's not gone for good. You see, He was made out of Christmas snow, and Christmas snow can never disappear completely. Oh, it sometimes goes away for almost a year at a time and takes the form of spring and summer rain. But you can bet your boots that when a good, jolly December wind kisses it, it'll turn into Christmas snow all over again.
Yes, but he was my friend.
Just watch.
Wait a minute.
He opens the door, a little bit of a cool air comes into the greenhouse, and Frosty is revived. They leave the greenhouse, and here we go with psychopath again, Dr. Henkel, or Professor Henkel. Wusthof knives are actually better. You know, Wusthof knives are also from Germany, and they're better knives. But anyway, just saying. They got a full...
Henkel.
The steel is beautifully made. I would prefer a Wusthof knife over Henkel's, but... So then Santa basically tells him, you're not getting nothing from me. I will give you nothing ever again. If you don't, you better go home and write, what did he say make him write?
Apology letters. Write apologies. Yeah. Hoping to get a new hat for Christmas. This is his only way to get a new hat. He's going to write apologies for everybody. Santa also drops Karen off at her house, which was wonderful. I'm sure her mother appreciated that. And takes Frosty to the North Pole, promising that he will return every year with the magical Christmas snow. And then, as the credits roll, Frosty leads a parade with the children, Hocus, the narrator, and Jimmy Durante and the rest of the town, including Professor Hinkle, who is now sporting his new hat. As the parade ends, Frosty boards Santa's sleigh, and they fly off to the North Pole, and Frosty promises to return the following Christmas. I actually really liked Jimmy Durante as a narrator. David, what I think of Jimmy Durante, I always mention I Love Lucy in this show, but I Love Lucy, because there was an episode where Lucy puts on a Jimmy Durante mask. I think when one of her friends couldn't see without her glasses, and she's pretending she's all these Hollywood people. And Lucy comes in with this Jimmy Durante mask, which is hysterical because it looks exactly like, if anyone's seen Jimmy Durante, he is a character looking kind of person to his face. So he's got a great voice for a narration, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I even like the singing. There's something nostalgic about his voice, and
it's very and when he placed it on that, it's very character-esque, his voice too. This is really interesting, David. After the first airing of this movie, for reasons unknown, nearly all the children's voices, including Karen's, were redubbed by unidentified children actors for the 70s re-airing. And all subsequent TV appearances and video releases contain the new soundtrack. The original is only available on the 1970 soundtrack LP and a 2022 release by Rhino. So this is the Karen's voice that I always remember. So this must have I just knew the redubbed one.
I wonder why. Maybe but you said right after it was done, right?
Yeah, the first airing, after the first airing.
There was some kind of issue with, who knows, maybe there's something wrong with the tracks or something. Maybe they messed up something.
Karen, goodbye. We have a few sequels, David. There was Frosty's Winter Wonderland in 1976, which I don't remember the hell that one. Rudolph and Frosty's Christmas in July in 1979. The Legend of Frosty the Snowman in 2005. And Frosty Returns in 1992 is a sequel to the original movie and set in a separate fictional universe from the other specials, with John Goodman as the voice of Frosty.
Is that when he gets a wife?
Oh, I remember this. There's a snow removal spray in this movie. Yeah, they're trying to get rid of snow, and they just spray it with this aerosol can. On July 1st, 2022, a live-action film adaptation of Frosty the Snowman was announced to be in development by Warner Brothers. Following Ray Fisher's accusations of mistreatment on the set of Justice League, Jason Momoa defended Fisher and claimed that Frosty the Snowman movie announcement was made without his permission. Oh, Jason Momoa was going to voice Frosty the Snowman. You know who that is? The guy who plays Aquaman with all the tattoos.
Hello? Oh, well, he looks unwashed. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, he does a lot of times, doesn't he? Well, he is married to Bonet.
Lisa Bonet.
So he was going to be the voice of Frosty, and after the Justice League accusations involves Joss Whedon of Buffy fame.
Of course, woman hater.
They're not doing this, I guess, as of now, because he refuses to do it.
So get somebody else to do it.
Get someone else. I was going to say, I can't picture him as Frosty anyway.
I want the voice of Karen to be Britney Spears.
Oh, my. Oh.
She could do. Actually, you said it was live action, so no. They can do it. Come on, they can do it. Get some kids.
And some terrible CGI snowman, I'm sure.
There was a horror movie with a snowman, right?
Yeah, Jack Frost. And Jack Frost 2.
That's terrible.
Maybe we'll do that next year.
Krampus,
yes. So what did we learn in today's episode, David?
Do you want me to tell you what I learned?
Yes, I do. Right in time for Christmas. What did you learn?
I learned that there's still psychopaths out. No, I'm only kidding. I learned that big part of who we are is based off of the things we experience as far as like nostalgia. Like the reason why we do this, I did learn that you can still be older and still enjoy something from your childhood. It might have changed a bit, but if you have kind of like have a loving heart, or if you, for example, like I was truly touched when Frosty died, I felt bad. You can hold on to some of that magic, basically, I think.
And it transforms. I mean, like we said, you're saying perfectly that the special, it held so many memories as a kid, and now you could still see parts in it, especially as you're older. Honestly, you do realize more and more, maybe let's just say your mortality and things are delicate, and you know, the cycle of life, like David was saying earlier. So it is a great message. And I mean, for 22 minutes, it flew by. I don't think you can go wrong with a classic like this. So, Radical Ones, this was our Christmas episode. We have one more episode for the last week of the month, and that is our 5-part Thundercats special, where the Lord of the Thundercats, Lion-O, does trials to become the official Lord of the Thundercats. Yes. Confusing, but don't worry. We will tell you all about it in our last episode. We are taking a short break after that for the new year, and then we will be back, of course, in 2023 with all new episodes. David, the people can always find you at Universal Appeal 2020, all one word, and you can find the Radical Retro Rewind podcast, one word, on Instagram. We're on YouTube. We're always making videos on there as well. And Merry Christmas for those that celebrate. Happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, happy everything. And we
solstice.
Oh, it's the winter solstice. That's right. Whatever you celebrate, we are so happy to have you as our Radical Ones. And we're so happy to be able to bring you, hopefully, entertainment in your holiday season. David?
I kind of always say the same thing every year, but you know what? I'm really glad to be here with you doing this. I hope that anybody that's listening really enjoys it. And, you know, all the things that we want for Christmas again every year. I you know, of course, peace on earth, goodwill towards men, that thing. I mean, of course, I know that that's unrealistic, but, you know, if you're a Christian, you believe that, you know, you celebrate Christmas because of the birth of Jesus Christ, which is beginning of you know, salvation. I hope that you have an amazing Christmas. I hope that you enjoy it with friends and family. And I hope that the goodwill towards men goes further than just Christmas into the new year.
Beautifully said. Don't follow strangers with snowmen and little girls for your hat. Let them be. Let them be. Santa will bring you a new hat. Happy holidays, everybody. Thank you again, David. And we will see you in our Thundercats special and then next year. Goodbye.
Bye.
Oh, you tricked me! No fair!